I'm the president of Hamwic Speakers, the only Toastmasters public speaking club here in the city of Southampton in the UK. Now normally we meet every Tuesday evening at the Atherley Bowling Club at about 7 o'clock, where we practice our public speaking and debating and general chatting and communication skills. It's great fun and it's a safe, nurturing environment for you to experiment different ways of finding yourself within public speaking. Now unfortunately, as a result of the pandemic of 2020, we've been forced to meet online and not in person, and so we do this via the Zoom video conferencing platform. Really, our meetings and the format of the meetings haven't changed at all, so I thought it'd be a good idea if I gave you an example of what an average meeting entails. Now every Toastmasters meeting follows an agenda which is delivered to the members and the guests before the meeting begins. Now this agenda follows a format that's actually replicated throughout pretty much all of the 16,600 Toastmasters clubs around the world. The great thing about this is that if you're a traveller and a Toastmaster member, you can visit a club from, say, New Delhi to New York and find the format is familiar and the same wherever you go. And this gives us a network of friends and clubs which we can visit, which makes our experience in Toastmasters so much fun. The whole idea of Toastmasters is to encourage people to try speaking in public at a level that they feel comfortable with, whilst also slightly pushing them out of their comfort zones. So each meeting there are several roles for people to have a go. And these roles will vary in their level of difficulty depending on the speaker's experience. Most meetings will have between 15 and 20 opportunities for people to speak. Each meeting will commence with the role of the Sergeant at Arms. This is the person who will tell everybody to settle down and sit down and listen, and to follow some of the basic rules of the meeting.
Before we start, there'll be two ground rules. The first ground rule is to
The next person to speak will be myself, the president, just to give a little bit of update on any club business, and then we move on to the Toastmaster. Now this is the person who acts effectively as the compere of the evening, introducing the various different speakers. A little bit like a TV chat show host.
You won't see it here online, but actually when we do a proper Toastmaster meeting, you'd normally see me handshaking with the guests, and that would indicate the handing over of the stage.
Every Toastmasters meeting runs for about 2 hours. Because there are so many roles on the agenda, each of these roles are allocated an amount of time within which someone can speak. And this is governed by the person called the Timekeeper, whose role it is for the evening, to ensure that nobody goes over time.
My role is to make sure the whole meeting runs on time, and I will be timing every speech.
The idea of being timed during your speeches is actually really useful, because as you progress through the process of Toastmasters, you can have opportunities to get involved with competitions, and competitions have extremely strict time constraints, and if you go even 1 second over the allocated amount of time, you are disqualified. So it's really good to start off your experience within Toastmasters always knowing that the clock is ticking against you.
Yeah, I'm the grammarian for this evening.
For this evening's meeting, we also have the role of the grammarian. This person's responsibility is to sit back and listen to everything that is said throughout the entire meeting, looking out for good use of language and vocabulary and the avoidance of filler words such as are, or so. They will also present the meeting with a word of the day, which they will encourage speakers to try and incorporate into their speeches if they can. It's much more difficult than you would imagine. The next role is the warm-up speaker. Now this is the person who encourages everybody in the room, regardless of whether they have an assigned role or not, to try to say something in response to a funky, weird and quirky question.
Effectively, the warm-up is a short chance for everyone to speak about a specific topic.
The next main part of the evening is the prepared speeches stage, and this consists of various speakers who have spent a great deal of time researching and preparing a speech based upon their challenges set by Toastmasters and where they are within their curriculum. So when you start with Toastmasters, your first prepared speech will just be an icebreaker, which will be a 6-minute speech just about yourself. But as you go through the challenges of Toastmasters, the challenges become more and more difficult, ending up with sorts of professional level speeches which can last at least 45 minutes. After the prepared speeches are over, those speakers can relax and take a breath, because we're now at the halfway point of the evening, and where most people, when we meet at the Atherley Bowling Club, will go off to the bar and grab a refreshment for a few minutes. But in the background, there are several people who will be furiously writing out some new mini speeches, and these are evaluations. The evaluators have been assigned a speaker to listen to for their speech, and then to give a 3 or 4 minute mini speech as feedback for those speakers. The great thing about Toastmasters is that we are constantly feeding back to each other on what we liked and what we suggest as ways to improve. After the evaluators have had their chance to speak, then we move into the third and final stage of the evening, which is the table topics. This is a period of unprepared, impromptu speaking, where we have a single person who's the table topics master, who will choose a series of people from the audience who don't know what they're going to speak about and ask them a question which they must talk about for 2 minutes. Being a table topic speaker is actually a very, very challenging thing to do, but also great fun and very rewarding. If you think about it, you have no idea of what you're going to say within the next 10 seconds until the question is posed to you. And then you've got to talk for 2 minutes about it in front of an audience. It's actually really, really difficult, and personally it's something I am terrible at. But it's all part of the Toastmasters experience, which is giving us more confidence at speaking under all circumstances. So, to close the meeting, I will appear again as the president to hand out the awards for the evening. Because throughout the evening, our members have been voting on who they thought was the best speaker, who they thought was the best evaluator, or the best table topic speaker. It's not a particularly competitive environment, but it's really rewarding to occasionally receive a little ticket that says that you did the best speech of the evening. So I really hope that you like what you saw and what we do here at Hamwic Speakers and Toastmasters. Please come and visit us in person or online from wherever you are across the world. All you got to do is to go to Google and type in Hamwic Speakers Southampton. See you again.